We're live. Welcome back, friends. Welcome to another crypto episode. Subscribe to Crypto Coffee if you haven't already. Ethereum can't break its all-time high after 4 years. What's going on? Why is it taking so long? I'm in the same boat as all you guys. I wish it was going a little faster. We're live on YouTube and X, by the way, so you're not going to see this unless you're on YouTube or X. If you want to join the chat box, ask me anything, you got to be on YouTube for that. For some reason, X doesn't connect to the chat box on my Streamlabs. So welcome back. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat. Maybe we'll do a giveaway. Maybe if I'm feeling nice. Maybe we'll just talk about how wrecked we are, because Ethereum, man, 4 years later, we got gold surpassing the Ethereum price. Embarrassing, shameful, but it's only a matter of time. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not saying that it's all over. This is not going to be, a 4-year cycle doom and gloom stream. I think it's just taking a longer than usual time to play out, because you've never before had institutional money in the game. And so everyone's like, well, what about the 4-year cycle? And it's like, well, what about the fact that this time actually is more correlated with crypto as a macro asset? So if crypto is going to be a macro asset, you need to realize that it's going to go more in line with debt cycles, the business cycle. It's, you can only rely on the 4-year cycle for so long, and that was predicated on the Bitcoin halvening. So if you think the 4-year cycle is over, go ahead and sell it all, go away. But I mean, crypto, what you don't understand is that crypto is an asset that is going to be here forever. It's the future. It's the future of all money. So you might regret it if you're going to quit now. You held on for this long. And if you were in here for just one pump, well, then you got to keep holding, right? Because everyone's altcoins are down. I mean, whatever conviction play you had, unless you were a meme coin, pump and dump cabal guy, people got rich on a couple of pump coins even on Pulse Chain, right? PTGC did well for a little bit, PDI did well for a little bit, but everyone's long-term plays, they're conviction plays. Meaning, hey, I bought into this narrative for multi-years. Look around and they haven't really reached new all-time highs. Seriously, most of them have not. People that are holding whatever, Pulse Chain, Sonic, Dogecoin, like, these are all down from their previous all-time highs. Some more or less wrecked than others, but Ethereum can't even break past 4,800. It's been 4 years, so what gives? Basically, with institutional money, they need to take their time to pack their bags. And with Bitcoin, right, this was a new asset listed on ETFs on exchanges. And because it's only been pumping because it's the most liquid asset, right? So now that institutions can pump it, they can get into it without crazy high slippage. It takes a lot of money to move these larger coins. Like, it takes a lot more money, and you can't be a big whale jumping into something like Ethereum without pushing the price up against you unless all the infrastructure is in place. You understand what I'm saying? So they need these ETFs. They need the staking ETFs to be set up. They need to tee up, the marketing, the CNBC and all the talking heads, because they're going to offload to retail at one point, but not until they're done packing their bags. BlackRock is still buying every dip. Tom Lee. You think Tom Lee's going to lose money on this trade? I don't think so. Like, the digital oil, the smart contract platform that's tokenizing the entire world, that all of the US stablecoins are on. Like, if you think crypto's just going away, or you're going to give up now, feel bad for you. But people can't just always assume there's going to be a 4-year cycle forever. Bitcoin never topped before the halvening, except for this time. That's basically the only reason. Now that BlackRock's slimy tentacles have corrupted everything, the institutions are in, crypto's behaving more as a macro asset, so we got to treat it as such. I'll share my screen if we want to read the crypto news. Is there anything worth reading in the crypto news? Let's take a look. Pi network price. Yeah, okay. Trump family profits $1 billion. Good for them. People love talking about other people's money. Arthur Hayes family seeks $250 million for crypto buyout fund. Nothing. See, you notice how all the news these days is just corporations. It's all corporate insiders teeing up for when they have inevitably pushed to retail, which is not right now. If we're being very blunt about where we're at in crypto, it's been a PvP game. It's been everyone at the same poker table, zero-sum game, rotating money around, trying to take each other's money, and the conviction plays haven't pumped yet. So sure, yeah, it's frustrating, but Ethereum, all of this really depends on Ethereum going up. Alt season may have not actually ever happened, and who knows if we even keep calling it alt season when there's 10,000 coins being created a day. Can you really even say there's going to be an alt season? There's going to be players that survive and players that die. So when you look who's got the attention, the critical mass of sticking around long enough, Pulse Chain's already there. Hex, Pulse X. This whole community, if it can survive, whoa, that was a loud noise. If it can survive a 99% dip and still have a growing community that gets bigger and still keep building with more exchanges, more infrastructure, more on-ramps, more bridges than it was 10 years ago. Richard Hart beating the SEC, like all this stuff is fortifying Pulse Chain. A 10x minimum sounds it sounds very likely. It'd be unreasonable not to have a 10x minimum at some point in the future. When you also factor in the deliberately low liquidity environment that was created by the developers, right? Slowing down the INC inflation rate, slowing down the Hex inflation rate, Hex yield. All these things reduce sell pressure and the liquidity incentivizing to be pulled out with the INC inflation rate. We have like 10x lower inflation than we did at this point last year. And this point last year, we saw 20 million SAC funds, sacrifice wallet funds, coming in to pump the Pulse Chain ecosystem. Imagine if something similar happened with 10 times lower liquidity, with Ethereum at an all-time high, with no SEC case, with more bridges, more exchanges, Liberty Swap, Coast, Internet Money Wallet. So the infrastructure is better. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Ricky Romero, thank you for the tip. Thoughts on XPL? Easy 2 to 3x, boss. Let's check out XPL, the chart. Chances are, Plasma, chances are this one was already, that can't be right. Let's check out the XPL price, because this has been the head turner, right? What is this, more perps? All-time chart. Yeah, not a great looking chart. This is kind of what every single crypto chart looks like right now. Just from $1.50 down to 42 cents. 60-70% drop. Oh, so Plasma's its own chain, right? Plasma's like an L1 chain. I guess we'll learn a little bit about it. Because quite frankly, I've heard about it. But stablecoin. Okay, so it's like a stablecoin chain. It sounds nice, right? Stablecoin infrastructure. But unless there's like serious pumpamentals going on and marketing, like, is this going to be just the stablecoin chain that nobody even realizes they're using? Because if this is just pipes with no hype or no marketing, it could just be a purely utilitarian, practical play. I wouldn't be surprised if this was, you've got unlocks, you've got VC insiders. Basically, in crypto, it's like choose your sell pressure. Do you want retail plebs to be the sell pressure, or do you want giant companies to be the sell pressure? Whenever a cryptocurrency, like this pie chart right here is a perfect example. Every time you do seed round, Series A, Series B, all these investors want to exit, and they exit by dumping on retail. 10% of the coins go into retail. Look, team, investors, and ICO, that together is 60% of all the coins. And ecosystem incentives, that's usually also sell pressure. Because when you give people just like free coins or coins for doing, basically anytime you airdrop coins as well, people farm the airdrops and they extract as much as they can. Without new demand exceeding again, this just has to do with more of the pie being not currently getting bigger. It's a finite pie. Who knows? Maybe one day it does have a future. I'm not saying, like, you can kind of go shopping right now for a lot of different coins and be in a pretty good place. If you're buying the blood, if you guys have any money left to buy the blood, like, I'm honestly, like, I'm out of dry powder, man. Like, I'm so tired of it. I probably should have bought that $19 billion liquidation event on October 10th, but I just had to sit there and take it. I had to sit there and get punched in the dick. I didn't even have I don't have stables anymore, man. I'm allocated. I'm retardedly, violently, dangerously long. Irresponsibly long. Things like Pulse Chain and Pulse Chain coins. But yeah, Plasma, man, it looks like every other coin launch. Obviously, there were VC insiders, as we saw in that pie chart. But thanks for the super chat. And look, stablecoins are going to be, if there's one thing you can bet on, right, it's that the US dollar is going to dominate and continue. The US government is going to want to continue to push US dollar dominance. This is not like a controversial take. It's kind of ingenious when you realize that to offload all of our debt, to offload all of our treasury debt, we're basically going to sell stablecoins to like every company. Because when a company can become a stablecoin issuer, they then can hold a bunch of US treasuries and offer the yield from those treasuries to themselves and their users. You see this with Bridge.xyz. You see this with like all the different stablecoin issuers popping up. So it would be really cool to see somebody launch a white labeled stablecoin on Pulse Chain. Plasma is a high performance layer 1 blockchain built for stablecoins. Yeah, look, this is just like corporate. I don't imagine you're going to get a lot of like innovation on this chain. It seems like it was purely built for stablecoins. I see Agora, Tether, just all the stablecoins, man. So if you like corporate stuff, if that's your meta, you're one of those Ripple guys that just likes corporate crypto. Hey, maybe that's your narrative. Crypto's all just narratives, and like whichever one you fall for, whichever one you buy into, I guess would be a better way to say that. So we got Pulse Chain over on Dex Screener, still in the top 6 position. Still goes to show you with retail users who are actually checking Dex Screener, Pulse Chain has not gone anywhere. Pulse Chain users are real. There's what, 10,000 or more daily active users, not botted, authentic, right? And I think it's hit critical mass. Like I said, I think we've reached a critical number of users that it's not going anywhere at all. If the price is right, like Pulse Chain's down what, 70, 80%, like most other conviction altcoins, but then you've got people doubling down, going harder at marketing, going harder at like direct mail campaigns, continuing to build Liberty Swap, filling nonstop. Their Peacock token coming out. Peacock token up 17% today. Not bad. Cryfag. Of course there's a Cryfag coin. Hey, we got only on Pulse Chain does Cryfag start pumping. Hilarious. Good job, guys. Zero token made a big comeback, surprisingly. Didn't know what to expect there. Pulse Guy, they've been doing some Twitter spaces. They're up 18% today. X Game up another 10%. So X Game's a cool project. It's like a casino. GLI certified actual gambling casino. X Game just launched on the Base network. It launched on Binance Smart Chain, and it launched on Pulse Chain. The reason this is good is because a lot of people just gamble out there. Like, just because I'm not a degenerate gambler doesn't mean that a large portion of the world isn't. I mean, a lot of people, they just want to play online poker. They want, like, they put slot machines in fucking gas stations, you know? So X Game, yeah, it's got potential. It's run by a professional, an industry professional with millions of dollars. So that also makes me bullish, but I don't feel great about referring people to go gamble, but I hope for my sake that this is successful, just because if the gambling market is captured, the rising tide could lift all ships. If people do buy PLS to get onto this gambling platform, because I'm not doing it, doesn't mean the degens can't pump our bags too. You know what I mean? PTGC still alive, 10% up today. What else? Vouch token. I mean, there's nothing. It's just kind of a meh. Kind of one of those days, you know what I mean? Streamlabs is blocking you guys for saying Cryfag. Hey Archie, what's going on? Hey Brizology. If Ethereum is digital oil, PLS is digital KY lube. Somebody should frame that. Make that tweet an NFT. Bit finesse. If you're spamming all caps, your Nightbot is probably going to smack you. Crypto, especially DeFi, still needs a use case, says Bitfinesse, that compels the ape to thrust his energy into our into our juicy space. You know, my opinion on crypto is that eventually, and probably right now, people are going to exhaust themselves on gambling. Pump.fun will become its own corner. You know, meme coins will become their own corner of the casino. Meme coins are a culture casino, so you have advantages with people like celebrities and live streamers over on Pump.fun. I'm kind of a live streamer myself, I guess. I just don't like change meme coins every 2 fucking seconds. But some people on Pump.fun, that's like their niche that they've carved out. Then you've got regular gambling, like I just said, X game. You've got perps, which just literally are cancer. They destroy people. I mean, we saw October 10th. But what I'm saying is eventually there's going to be a social-fi component. Social applications that people actually use. So Zora is something that caught my mind. I'm over on Zora.co. Check it out. CryptoCoffee_PLS over on Zora. I'm chilling Pulse Chain over there because it's just a very experimental platform. A lot of these social crypto platforms like Farcaster, we've seen a lot of previous versions of them. They've all come and gone pretty quickly. They don't really last. Zora's got a little bit of potential, right? Because it's basically Instagram. It is Instagram, but instead of likes, you tip people microtransactions. So you can buy somebody's post, or you can buy somebody's entire profile. By buy, I mean like, okay, here's 20 cents, here's 30 cents. Pretty interesting concept. It does work on the base network because of the really cheap, like almost zero fees. You know, kind of a semi-centralized L2. So eventually when L1s, you know, become the dominant network, an interconnected network of L1s, let's say 5 years from now, when Ethereum fees get super low, maybe we don't need L2s anymore, there will be a winner that takes off in terms that there will be like the Facebook of crypto or the Instagram of crypto. Is it going to be Zora? I don't know. Maybe like 40% chance. But if it is, I mean, it would be nice to be early for one, catch a trend early. And if you're shilling your favorite coins out there, like for me, I love Hex, I love PulseX. Maybe some people on Zora would like to find out about LibertySwap.finance, which is like the base to Pulse Chain bridge. So if you are a base user and you're watching this video, LibertySwap.finance, the easiest way to get your money from base to Pulse Chain. Check out all the other hidden gems on Pulse Chain too. You can buy into Peacock Token, Top Hat, Hex, Pulse Chain, whatever you like on LibertySwap if you're a base user. So in my opinion, if you're going to go to Zora, LibertySwap is like the thing to shill. Hell, even Internet Money Wallet, right? Internet Money Wallet's a base, it's a multi-chain wallet. You got Pulse, Base, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain. Why not go on Zora and get paid to post and maybe reach some new people for doing what you're already doing, which is posting anyway. So Pulse Chain's got a lot of marketing type folks. That's one reason I say that is because Pulse Chain understands the community. They really go hard. Like Base, you've got a lot of builders. I would say Pulse Chain, you got a lot of builders also. You also have a lot of streamers. A lot of people that show their face on camera, do YouTube live streams, they do Twitter spaces. They get out there, they actually talk. They put their reputation behind what they actually believe in. Ricky Romero says, did I rotate any of my Bitcoin into alts already? Bro, I actually have no Bitcoin at all. I'm all in on Ethereum and alts. And by alts, I mean Pulse Chain, X, PulseX, meme coins like Peacock, Top Hat. But as far as Bitcoin goes, man, as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of old news. This is going to be triggering to the Bitcoin maxis. But we had a Netscape, and now everybody uses Google. We had Linux, and now everybody uses Windows. So just being the first thing, just the fact that Bitcoin was first, doesn't mean it's going to be the number one thing forever. And not to mention, it's 15 years old. It's at an all-time high. It went from 1 penny to $120,000. So can Bitcoin double from here in the next 6 to 8 months? Yeah, I think Bitcoin can maybe hit 200K, 250. Would you rather double your money or do more multiples? I'm in crypto for multiples. Ethereum seems inevitable to have a double, maybe even a triple in price from here. Yeah. My hot take is that I don't care. I don't hold any Bitcoin at all. Meme coins will come back, no doubt. Well, meme coins never left. Dogecoin, Pepe, Shiba. Like when you ask random crypto guys or just, normies, a lot of normies out there are holding fucking fart coin. Because they thought it was funny and their buddy texted it to them and they bought it back. People buy really dumb meme coins. They haven't gone anywhere. Who cares about ETH? A A lot of people, Powell. A lot of people care about ETH. In fact, almost every single developer is building on an ETH or EVM style chain. You can't build on Bitcoin. You're about to care a lot about ETH once the NBC starts pushing it down everyone's throat. After the staking Ethereum ETFs are in play, after Vanguard and all these people can get their staking Ethereum ETFs, Grayscale just, I think, got one. Grayscale launched the first yield-bearing ETP. It's not an ETF, but it's an exchange-traded product. So it's coming, guys. You can only tap resistance for so long before it blasts through resistance and that resistance becomes a support. The 4,800 mark is like the weakest resistance at this point. It's already hit it 7 or 8 times on Ethereum. That's from a technical analysis perspective, but man, Ethereum is so primed. It just sucks to wait. That's all I'm saying. Pulse guys forever. That's the vibe. What's up, Dewey Scum? Love it. Memeing for the culture and the degens. Maybe I'll turn off Nightbot, guys. Sorry, is Nightbot pissing people off? Because it doesn't... Susie Q, I know you're probably not spamming, but Nightbot thinks you are. I'll turn off the Nightbot next time. Real meme coins are part of the stable. They hold different inclusive energy. Yeah, communities kind of form around meme coins. As long as they're on Pulse Chain, most of the time they tie their liquidity to PLS. Just like every meme coin on Ethereum ties its liquidity to ETH. So a lot of times memes are the gateway drug for people. Understand, like, people have to buy ETH. They have to buy Pulse to go buy into their community coin. Whatever it is, Pulse Guy or whatever. Doug says ETH should be number 1. I agree. ETH is utilitarian, privacy focused, got the best developers, the best roadmap, best DeFi infrastructure. All of the fucking world's stablecoins are launching on Ethereum. Like, I don't know how much more clear I can get. When you're using USDC and you're using USDT, you're using Ethereum and you don't even know it. A lot of people, well, people probably know it. This is the choice, right? You can't do stablecoins on Bitcoin. It's too slow. It's too expensive. Ricky says, I bought Bitcoin at 20K. Congratulations. Just rotated into Sui, Radium, Morpho, and SEI with this tip. Sounds like you're down the Solana rabbit hole, bro. Morpho? Isn't that the Ethereum yield vaults? Or is that something else? I don't know, man. It sounds like you're down a very different rabbit hole than I am, Ricky. I'm down the Pulse. I'm Pulse Chain pilled. I'm like OG cypherpunk decentralization maxi. That is the social media portion of crypto. Oh, you're talking about meme coins? Yeah. Well, the social media portion of crypto eventually will be actual social media. Because let's say Zora gets popular, right? But then Instagram finds out that Zora is getting popular, so they just steal all the features. Like, you're going to have a crypto wallet baked in. Samsung just launched a phone that has a crypto wallet baked into the phone. Your Apple ID, mark my words, in the next like 3 years or less, is going to have like a crypto address tied to it. Because it's just a more efficient way to transfer value. And if you want to use crypto, you're going to be able, everyone's going to be able to, once you have a wallet baked into your phone. And so then you can have an Instagram type player come along and just say, okay, well, we'll just do microtransactions in the app so that you can now own a piece of your creator. You guys are financially intertwined. So if the creator that you like blows up, well, then you get to have a financial gain. You know? And you can actually own your own posts. You no longer become the product. I mean, I'm sure your data is always going to be farmed. That's always going to be a thing. Paladin says, appreciate the stream, man. Not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere either. I really do think 6 to 8, maybe 10 more months left. We could easily go into August of 2026. There's no reason that just because there were... Here's the thing about 4-year cycles. How many data points do you have? You have 3 data points. You had the 2012 cycle. You had the, well, I guess 2011 maybe. You had the 2017 cycle. At the 2021 cycle, that's 3. So will it play out like that forever? Everything works. Every indicator, every cycle, every predictor works until it doesn't. Most and Pump have RH owning 81%, 4% burned. Yeah, people like Most token as well. I don't think that's really high up on the charts today. Most, I rotated all my Most into Peacock, but yeah, a lot of people think that Richard Hart created this coin. More than likely, it was just the developer. Whoever invented Pump.tires. Take a look at Pump.tires just for a laugh, huh? Pump.tires. This is where people launch meme coins on Pulse Chain. This is like Pump.fun, except instead of all the fees getting burnt, they go to, or instead of all the fees going to one single guy, they get burnt. Oh my god, dude. Jesus. Pump.tires is mean. Mean today. Cockiest Maximus. Very real digital nickels. Well, there's one thing I'll say about Pump Tires. It is there's no censorship over on Pump Tires. Fist crushing money. I like this one. I'm not gonna buy these, by the way. Just because the JPEG is mildly amusing doesn't mean I'm gonna put actual money into it. The cabal. The cabal. I'm not clicking into that one. Oh, hey. Got a little notification. Hey, thanks so much, Paladin. I appreciate the tip there, buddy. I already called the yacht builders and told them 8 more weeks. Yeah, make sure you delay that yacht order just a little bit. Just tell them it's going to be 2 more weeks, guys. Ethereum isn't pumping yet. Lord Vitalik. When Vitalik lets us, we can get these gains. By the way, speaking of, and thank you for the tip again. Strategic Ethereum Reserve. You guys know what this is? The Strategic Ethereum Reserve. These are a list of companies aligned to the success of Ethereum. Basically, they buy a bunch of ETH and they just hold it. They don't do anything. They hold it to be strategically aligned and basically signal, look, we want Ethereum to go up. Who do you see at number 5? Not a company. The blockchain network called Pulse Chain. Not a company. You've got Bitmine, who owns 3 million Ethereum. That is insane. They own 2.5% of the Ethereum supply. 2.5. $12 billion of ETH. Sharplink Gaming, it's the Ether Machine, the Ethereum Foundation, and then Pulse Chain Sachs coming in at number 5 with 160,000 Ethereum worth $643 million. Imagine when that goes up past $1 billion. Look, we saw the Sacrifice wallet rotating into Pulse Chain in December, November of 2024. What if that happens again on 10x lower liquidity, guys? I'll give you a hint. Lower liquidity, things pump harder. They also dump harder, as we've seen. So you are now witnessing, what you're living through is a generational shakeout. This is way harder than 2017. This is way harder than 2021. I was there for both of those cycles. Time is different, man. It is harder. There's hyper saturation on the retail side. And you have institutional slow behemoths trying to wiggle their cruise ships into these liquidity pools here. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum still considered risky because they don't have enough liquidity for somebody to enter with $1 billion. These guys manage like trillions. BlackRock manages trillions of dollars. My nephew was asking me about crypto, says Archie, and now wants to get in. I'm going to move this chat box. I got to go with the classic chat box. Let me change the chat box, huh? Theme clean. Okay. The chat box went back to the OG chat box. Good point, DX. We're not as wrecked as those NFT kids from 2021. NFTs got turbo wrecked because there's like no liquidity. Because what happened with NFTs is a lot of people would wash trade them. They would trade one NFT to themselves a couple of times, like to their alternate accounts. They would inflate the value, make it look like there was real demand. But when the floor fell out, like they don't go down slowly. There's no place for you to sell on the way down. It's just high and then low. Because they're not liquid like coins. There's no pools of liquidity there. Well, if your nephew's asking you about crypto, tell him to check out Liberty Swap or gainpulsechain.com. Yeah. Coast Exchange is pretty good. I really like that one. Normal, please. Damn. I think I got to go into my actual Streamlabs settings. Type says, dude, I missed the top of the bull market even though I lost everything. Times were simple. Yeah. You know, we look on the past with rose-colored glasses. It's fun to think that, oh, yes, times were so good back then. But there was always some level of anxiety of people not knowing if it was the top or people losing money in scams and getting completely wrecked on FTX. Like, crypto is just a minefield, and you just have to survive without losing it all. Because it's easy to say, oh, it was easier times back then, but we also didn't know what the fuck we were doing. A lot of times we had to figure it out the hard way. The amount of money I lose, like both in a bear market and a bull market, a constant learning reminder. It's humbling. Crypto's humbling. Archie says the fees are so low on Ethereum. When they come back, you know the NFTs are back. Yeah, the NFTs are typically the gas guzzlers. I have a prediction that NFTs will not be called NFTs by the time they're popular again. I predict they'll just be more so digital collectibles. I don't think the word NFT means anything at all to a normal person. And if you want normal people to adopt NFTs, they're digital collectibles. They're coupons, they're concert tickets, they're digital Pokemon cards. Non-fungible tokens is like crypto nerd talk. Maybe, who knows? I could be wrong. That's just a prediction. When Tetra launches, do you think it's going to take off, Mr. Coffee? When Tetra launches, I thought Tetra launched already. Taking a long time, huh? I have no idea what to say to my nephew. It's a minefield. Hey, give him $100. Let him lose it. And the thing about crypto is it's like everyone needs to, it's trial by fire. You almost need to learn through experience because I can yell and scream, hey, don't give your money away. Don't put your private keys online. Don't do leverage trading. And people still do. Paladin says, I remember teasing Gerardo about having the easiest job in crypto, which was charting the Hex bull run like a weatherman in Hawaii. Susie Q says, I appreciate your stream. Thank you so much, Susie Q. I appreciate you for coming. Thanks for coming. Bob Houston says, I agree. Crypto is here to stay, but don't I think the field of really quality assets will narrow significantly? Yes, Bob. I think it already has. You're going to see real world assets on chain. So when you've got Apple stock and real estate investment trusts on the blockchain, you're talking to guys with a lot of money. Are they going to like that, or are they going to like dick butt coin? You know what I mean? And or the 90 other dick butts that got created the same day. Nothing against dick with butt on Pulse Chain. I am partial to that one. But it's interesting. You also have the new financial system being created by a bit younger millennial type people. So maybe there is a route of a little more fun, a little less seriousness, a little less LinkedIn profile, suits and ties. And I mean, look, unicorns are the logo for Uniswap. Pulse Chain's mascot is a peacock. It's like a cartoon peacock. So there is this fun spirit of crypto that people are okay buying a meme coin if it's fun. Dogecoin is just funny, right? Shiba, it's a little cute dog, whatever. Pepe, timeless meme. But with the oversaturation, yeah, I hear what you mean. I think you're already seeing people like positioning for their real quality. Like, what is it? Ondo is an entire chain just for real world assets. I don't think you're going to need all these chains, but we will consolidate to probably 10 or 20 with interoperability layers that people don't realize that they're even using sometimes. For example, when you swap USDC to Ethereum, let's say you're on Uniswap, right? You swap USDC on Ethereum into, let's say, Pepe token on Base. What's happening is you're crossing chains. You might not actually even have money for gas, and yet all that is happening behind the scenes, being taken care of for you. So you're already seeing the user experience problem get better with sponsored transactions or bridging behind the scenes. You don't care what the bridge is. You don't care which protocol is making your coins appear. You just want intent-based. I put in this coin, I get out this coin. So we're doing a little better. It's still 2002 internet. It's still the Nokia. You know, the iPhone hasn't come out yet. And to use a crypto metaphor, or a real world metaphor. The sob jerking in crypto is epic. I'm blissfully unaware of all the cry fagging because I have muted and blocked, and I just don't. You know, when you're scrolling through Twitter, if you click on the three dots, you just click not interested in this post. For all the negative, whiny bullshit, that just won't come up as much. So, underrated feature is just the not interested in this post. You know, you've got a guy that all he does is whine. Just tell Twitter you're not interested. You can mute him, you can block him, but, you know, you could just, tidy up the feed a little bit. Benke says, what's the circulating supply of Pulse and PulseX? How high can they pump based on market cap? Interesting, Benke. So you're asking how high something can pump based on market cap, when really, market cap doesn't matter at all for how high something can pump. You might disagree, but I'll prove it to you. What makes a crypto go up is people buying and selling. When you're buying and selling, you're not buying the market cap. We could look up the market cap to show you guys. For example, let's do PulseX, right? PLSX has a market cap of 2.6 billion. Now, when you consider that 90% of that's dormant, what's the actual circulating supply? Probably more like, let's see, self-reporting circulating supply is 143 trillion. I mean, look, the market cap is whatever you want to count as the circulating supply. But what really matters is here I am on info.app.pulsex.com. Check this out. This is all the statistics. How high something can pump is based on how much money coming in does it require to pump something XYZ amount. You could look at PulseX as a token. Okay, you could see all the liquidity pools it's tied to, and I'll tell you how much liquidity it has. $4.7 million of liquidity. Now, how much of that is tied to stablecoins? If you want to go farther, a better question to ask is how much of that is actually tied to stablecoins? Well, you've got barely anything tied to stablecoins. Most of it is tied to Ink token, and most of it's tied to Pulse token. So the actual, let's take a look right here. The actual PulseX primary liquidity pair has $6 million of liquidity. And you notice that 2 million, 4 million, there's really only $8 million of stablecoins backing Pulse. So with $8 million in stables backing the whole ecosystem, because PulseX is a symmetric liquidity pool, if you 10x the liquidity, you 100x the price. Meaning if the liquidity now goes to 80 million, that's all it would take to 100x the price. So with not even $100 million of net buy pressure coming in, then the whole ecosystem could pump 100x or more. There's a good app that does the math for you. It has to do with this equation. It's called X times Y equals K. Constant product market. It's Uniswap v2 was a constant product market, and the reason that PulseX is a Uniswap v2 fork is because it allows you to have these predictable if-then statements. Meaning, if $100 million comes in, 10 million, $100 million comes in buy pressure. And again, this is, everyone always says this, what about the sell pressure? Yeah, it's net buy pressure after the sell pressure. So people are selling, people are buying. It's not like everything happens in a straight line. But if you get 100 million of net buy pressure, you get a 1,700x on Pulse X. That's a real number. 3 cents. Now, is that possible? Well, there's trillions of dollars out there. Is it possible next month? Probably not. Is it possible next year? Meh. But is it possible over 10 more years? Absolutely. Is it possible over 5 years? Yeah. Pretty achievable to get $100 million to buy your chain. When you consider that the stock market has $100 trillion. 401ks, real estate, these have trillions of dollars in them. All you need to do is capture like 0.01% of the world's economic energy. And that's how coins pump. They don't pump based off market cap. Market cap is just a chart where you're just deriving one more thing. Market cap is just price times circulating supply. So if what you care about is price, then what moves the price? People buying. And if something's more liquid, then their buys do less to the price. If something's less liquid, then their buys do more to the price. Which is why Bitcoin, being the most liquid crypto, it's such a heavy object to move. It takes so many more dollars that the only people left to pump Bitcoin are institutional money. BlackRock. People are begging Michael Saylor to pump their bags. Because that's all that's left. You need corporate, like multiple millions of dollars to move the price up. Just a single one of Michael Saylor's buys coming into Pulse Chain would gigasend the entire ecosystem. We got work to do, says Dewey Scum, and positive energy is our vibe. Pulse Chain is different, like the culture is actually building for legacy. ETH regrets only doing 200 billion as people have bias buying something in the 10K range. Not sure what you mean by that. ETH regrets only doing 200 billion? Maybe I'm missing something. What's up, Sandy Beach? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat, as always. Bitfinesse says, we need a judge somewhere to accept ownership of a crypto asset as proof of ownership of a real-world tangible thing. That would be huge for crypto. We need precedent set. Well, it's interesting with crypto because all you really own is a number in your head. So if you own your private key, do you own those 12 words or do you just know those 12? This is what Richard Hart was trying to popularize. You don't actually own a private key. So is there even ownership of crypto? Because what if somebody else knows your private key? They also own it. So knowledge is ownership. Like knowing your password is the same thing as owning your password. Very weird, very interesting. We'll probably see some kind of case, some kind of legal precedent in the next couple of years about that. 200 billion total coins to start with. Oh, okay. Yeah. They launched with less total supply. The one reason Pulse Chain launched and they like 1 million X to the supply. That's actually what happened. So they took Ethereum. What Pulse Chain is an Ethereum layer 2 or layer 1 copy. An Ethereum 2.0 clone. It's a layer 1 blockchain, EVM compatible, different chain ID 369. All that happened was that the fees are cheaper and the supply was 1 million X'd. Not only to make the fees cheaper, but also to kind of unit bias is what it's called. So people like holding 20 million coins much more than they like holding 0.27 coins. Very simple. You know, normies don't even realize sometimes that they can hold a fraction of a Bitcoin. People will actually, you will hear people say, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive, I can't afford one. It's $120,000. Yeah, most people understand that they can buy a fraction of it now, but still in the back of your mind, you can't help but think, well, you know what's cooler than having 0.07 of something? Having 50 million of something. What that does for people is it gets this theoretical $1 valuation where they're like, oh, you know, what if Pulse Chain hits $1? Then I have $50 million. It's like really simple, like retard math for people. I do it too. I do it too, guys. Can you imagine if Pulse Chain hits $1? I mean, Hex will by far hit $1 before Pulse Chain. I mean, Hex is only 100x away from $1. Pulse Chain is many, many more x's away from $1. Thousands of x's. Bitfinesse. Is there going to be Chicago deep dish in Puerto Rico? Not really one of our main exports. I think they can live without it. When you're on a hot, sweaty island, the last thing you want to eat is a giant pie full of sauce and cheese with the sauce on top. Pisses people off. They hate the sauce on top. They don't want you to have the sauce on top. As New Yorkers, they get real triggered when you put the cheese underneath. Good point, Coffee. I hope RH brings that up again about ownership. Yeah. Very interesting concept. Owning versus knowing. Crypto's the Wild West for real. Yeah, crypto is totally the Wild West. Fun to be a part of. Because look, 10 years from now, if you didn't establish a position financially, you're going to miss all the economic opportunity. It will change lives for the ones that survive. And we're out here making sure Pulse Chain survives. That simple. Building, more importantly, telling people we exist, which is marketing. So, got what, 1,100 people here? That's awesome. 1,100 people. That's like a whole big stadium. Like a pretty big room. Maybe not a stadium. And these are crypto nerds. But imagine when regular people find out about this. There's big world out there. Lots of consciousness to be consumed. I swapped all my PDI for Hex on the day they both reached the same price at 1.6 cents. Well, so far that's been a good move. But you want to bet on the QAnon of crypto. Even Richard Hart said that stupid things pump, right? So, who knows? That's the only infinite resource, right, in this world. Is stupidity. So, you want to bet on that? Look, I want everyone to make money. I really do. For some people, QAnon conspiracy theory, that's what they want. The market decides, right? Would be funny. Not worth getting angry at as long as they're not hurting anybody. I thought in my head, Hex is definitely getting there somewhere to $1. Yeah. Conspiracy says, what's up, fam? Hugh says, hey, what's going on? What is going on in the Pulse Chain world? Is there any news worth talking about today? Everyone's talking about the No Kings protest. I'm protesting Ethereum being below $4,000. It's a hate crime. It's racist. And I object, Your Honor. Crypto price is falling. Why is October not going as expected? Yeah, there was a little too much October optimism. But the good news is that typically November and December are also bullish months. Here's what I'm going to say. We're going to have 2 rate cuts, possibly in October, at the next Fed meeting. And another one before the year is over. So you're going to have up to 3 rate cuts before the end of the year. And when the Fed lowers rates, money becomes easier to get. They inject it into assets. And that's where you watching this video gets to join the capital class and take advantage of the endless fiat debasement. Let me see. Fed watch. We'll pull this up on the screen. The Fed watch tool in 9 more days. Now they're not even talking about if he's going to do 1 rate cut. They're talking about he might do 2. Okay, well, there's not that high. So it's probably going to be 1. Unless he hints at things being different. But right now we've got 4 to 4.25. Probably going to lower it by 25 basis points. to 375 to 400. I heard a noise over there. What's up, Almighty? Check that RH Pepe chart, brother man. Thanks for the tip, sir. RH Pepe, one of my actual favorite memes. They just make good memes. This is basically just Richard Hart as a Pepe. There he is, guys. Fist crushing money. Power to profit. InternetMarketingMasters.com. Our Lord and Savior, Mr. Richard Hart. He built the entire chain just so that you guys could make little Pepe the Frog cartoons of him. Well done. Yeah, look, it came back. So here's the lore behind RH Pepe, right? The original Pump.Tires meme coins. The original one, to go all the way back to the beginning. Nobody knows who launched these, but it was probably whoever developed Pump.Tires. Probably not Richard himself, but people don't care. People will just say it's Richard because they like to make up stories, but it might have been. Might have been, but probably not. Anyway, the OG, first ever to launch. Look, we got XL Pepe on Pump Tires 5 days ago. Oh, that's funny. This is an Ethereum meme coin, by the way. Keep your eye on this one on Ethereum. XL Pepe. I'm getting distracted. Basically, here, let's filter by launches. By launches. Pepe the Frog. So when Pump.Tires first launched, he launched, whoever that was, launched ticker symbols of every popular coin. BTC, ADA, Pepe, ETH. And the degens basically just took it and bastardized it into what you see today. But look, I mean, they make good memes. Nothing else, they're consistently degenerate on the old X, which, respect. The Solana guy, the Solana on Pulse Chain also makes me laugh. But RH Pepe, come on, that's just funny. Congrats on your 6X. Get on to Pulse Chain, noobs. You're missing out on 6Xs. Could have bought this coin. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Thanks for the tip, Almighty. Look at those lips. In honor of our chain's founder. Look at those juicy Pepe lips. Well, what else is going on in the crypto news? XRP forms death cross. Uh-oh. Any XRP guys out there like getting dumped on by Ripple Foundation or Ripple Labs? Hyperliquid. A lot of retail's getting tricked into leverage trading. A lot of y'all are falling for the fake screenshots, fake P&L statements. Isn't it funny how there's so many great traders out there with millions of dollars? Like, how the fuck is James Wynn a main character in crypto? This guy professionally loses money for a living. And everyone's jerking this guy off, James Wynn. This is your hero? This is your crypto hero? Guy that loses 9 figures in leverage trading? People are lost out there. New rules in Japan. Banks can buy Bitcoin if regulators approve. Fire Whale has 10%. Oh, of RH Pepe? I didn't know that. Well, if Fire Whale likes to buy coins, guys, that's all I will say. Fire Whale likes to pump coins kind of just for a laugh. Rich people doing rich people things. He did it to SolidX. Probably did a little to X Game. The thing about X Game is it's an actual product, okay? It's not just like, oh, a whale might buy it. Like, no, people do gamble. They do gamble on other chains, Base, Binance Smart Chain. So with a good marketing push, X Game actually has a utility projected, revenue coming in. Japan's banks. Okay, that's not that interesting, I guess. high network crash. Fun fact, Pulse Chain has never crashed. Hex has never been down. Pulse X has never been down. Never been down. 100% uptime. All right, Almighty is loving the RH Pepe in the chat. I did buy this other, like, what was it? It's an RWA token on Pulse Chain called CVRE. Basically, some guy is investing in real estate, and he's going to use the profits from rental income to pump the coin. I don't see it on here, CVRE. CVRE made a good recovery. I bought in right around 7. I think I bought in on the right around here on its way down. So I do have a bag of this one. Real estate guy. We're basically just hoping that he runs a good business. That's all. What else? Shadow, RSI ecosystem. I don't know. This one might do something. Hill Shills, Hexagon Hill. Might pull some tricks out of his sleeve for this one. Not sure. But, little old Hex. This is my long-term play, guys. I've staked it for 15 years. Can you believe it? How delusional must I be to stake this for 15 years? Consolidating pretty heavily at this. This zone is like a strong magnetic pull to the 0.006 zone. Look at this. Look at how many times this has become support and resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times now. 006 for Hex has been both a support and a resistance. After we get out of this accumulation zone, I'm hoping that the chart starts to look a little more like this. A little more flat. Here, you want some technical analysis? Here, maybe we do something like this. We go back in time, and then we go forward in time, and then whoop, and then a little bit of that. And then we're all rich. How's that for your TA? All right, guys. We've been here about an hour. Thanks for coming. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. And learn about Pulse Chain before it's too late, for real. Pulse X is Uniswap with a buy and burn. Pulse Chain is cheaper, faster Ethereum 2.0 clone. Hex is monetizing time. Take it till you make it. You lock it, wait, get paid more for unlocking it at a later time to take supply off the table and help reduce sell pressure. There's yield farms over here if you really want them. I'm not in them right now because of impermanent loss risk. Plenty of other protocols. Follow my old videos. If you want to know how to get outsized yield, I've got plenty of tutorials on like Tide, beta.0xtide.com, all kinds of other platforms. New meme coins always coming out on Pulse Chain. Just follow it. Got potential. The whole ecosystem. $8 million back in the entire ecosystem. We're all just waiting for Ethereum, aren't we? We're all just waiting for that. And look, if you need help one-on-one, if you want to ask me a question, make sure you subscribe over on X. Smash that subscribe button on X. Give you a link to my chat. And you could ask me whatever you want. Here's what it looks like. Go to my profile. You go follow me. Oh, come on. I'm a human. Go follow me over on X if you want access to... God damn it. Whatever. I'm on an incognito tab. Subscribe if you want help. If you want tech support, you want to talk strategy. We've got a group over there. Talk about buys, sells, new coins, whatever. Check that out. Cheers, Archie. See y'all on the next one. Thanks for coming.